Hello, everybody. Welcome to 10 p.m. with Galinsky. It only happens here, and it has to happen here 5 nights a week at 10 p.m. Got my regular crew loading up in the chat room already. James Turcott, Turco Ono, Jack Fuller. I'm sure you guys can hear me. A couple of quick announcements. If you haven't picked up your book yet, Shift Poetry in the Time of COVID-19, shiftpoetry.com. I've got 3 poems in here, a lot of great poems about what we're experiencing right now. Go check it out. Also, nuchas.com is supporting our show tonight. Go to Nuchas and order some delicious empanadas. Also want to thank the Stage Network and VIP Talent Connect. The Stage Network and VIP Talent Connect are streaming us on their social sites. Watchstage.com is the site, and also is the site, not the streaming site. And the other is VIPTalentConnect.com. Also, big shout outs to ActorTrade.com as well. I've got a really great guest tonight. He's more than just an environmentalist. He's a fun cat. I met him in San Francisco at a conference. He's changing the world. He's already done some changing of the world, and he's continuing to do so. And I'm really excited to have him with us tonight. So please join me in welcoming Henk Rogers. Hey, Henk.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Good to see you. I customized my background for you. This is the blue planet, the blue ocean.
What we're looking at is Makapu'u and the islands just off Makapu'u. It's a Hawaiian word. That's a rabbit island, which is not a very Hawaiian name. It probably has a Hawaiian name that's been lost in antiquity, just like Diamond Head lost its name and became, it was Leahi Crater in the old days. Now it's Diamond Head, whatever.
And this is?
So that's the end of a lava flow that's relatively recent. That's why it's dark. So Oahu is very old. It's like probably 4 or 5 million years old. And that lava flow is probably, I don't know, a couple of 100,000 years, maybe something like that. It's the end of a lava flow.
Gotcha.
Came out of the side of the volcano.
And that's where you're based in Hawaii, right? You're based out on the islands.
I am based in Hawaii. I've got a place in Honolulu, and I've got a ranch on the Big Island of Hawaii.
Let's do some quick shout outs to everybody in the chat that's already blowing up the room. Jack Fuller out on the West Coast, Callie Greenberg with us. Turco Ono's with us, Destiny Gay, Winnie Maria, Lauren Cunningham, Rosita, Elizabeth Harder, places packed. Andrew Einhorn is in here, Marty Sittler's in here, Lori Roberge is with us, Trefero, John Harris. Good to see you, everybody. They're all saying hello. Rosita says, Island Paradise.
Cheers, everybody.
And Elizabeth says, good evening, Robert and Henk. Cheers. And aloha. So you didn't grow up in Hawaii. You grew up in New York, right?
Well, 11 years in the Netherlands and then 8 years in New York, junior high school and high school in New York. 4 years in Queens, 4 years in Manhattan.
Those formative teen years. That's great.
Oh, yeah. I got my attitude in New York.
And what's that?
High school.
What's that? How does that attitude serve you in Hawaii? Isn't it all laid back there?
It's laid back, but it's a little too laid back. That is the problem. So, people don't get shit done. That's the, like in New York, it's like, I'm going to do this thing. I know I can do anything. And that is the attitude that I have. And and when I say I'm going to turn Hawaii into the next New York, everybody goes, oh, no, we don't want that,
Yeah. Well, you're going to do that without the same electrical grid. That's for sure.
There you go.
And there's so much to talk about, but real quick, your home and your complex that you live on is off the electric grid. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, gosh, where do I start? Yes. So I took my ranch off grid a number of years ago. I wanted to study energy storage and took my ranch off grid, which makes my ranch into a little island because I want to solve the problem of electricity for islands around the world. I think that's the first place that we need to help because they're suffering because Hawaii, for example, Hawaii spends $5 billion a year on oil. It's 1.5 million people. $5 billion a year on oil. And 40% of that goes to making electricity. So, I mean, like, why we are the mecca of renewable energy. We're the southernmost state in the country, so we have the most solar. We have trade wind, so we have wind whenever we want it, and we have geothermal. Are you kidding me? This is like gold, and instead of using those, we're importing oil. It just makes no sense.
And what is that rooted in? I mean, so many of these are just bad habits from, that we just can't break. But what?
If you go back in time, it was a pretty good idea. Oil was cheap, and you can take the oil and you can make it into jet fuel, gasoline, and electricity. So it's a very, very versatile thing. But now that we know that oil is like really bad for the environment, we got to switch over, and we have all the technology to switch over now. I'm not sure why we don't.
We're going to talk more about that when we get to a little bit of Blue Planet. I want to say hi to Samantha, who just joined us. Zulima says, love the New York attitude. Makes you a survivor when everyone else around the world seems nice. Anthony Randall just joined us. Anthony!
Hey, Anthony, what's going on?
Right, Anthony from EQ. A great conference. Wow, last year's conference in San Francisco was incredible. Yeah. So let's jump to a different topic for a second and come back to you and Blue Planet. Tetris. Tetris is, tell me, all right, I'm making some assumptions, so you clear it up. Tetris kind of blindsided you. I mean, it was something that you designed or you helped design as a game, or it was designed not to.
Okay, stop right there. So
clear it up.
So I used to have I created the first role-playing game in Japan, ended up with a publishing company, and then started traveling around the world looking for games to bring to Japan. Tetris I found at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, and nobody knew what the hell it was, and I recognized it as being the simplest, most straightforward puzzle game ever. I was hooked on it, and so I licensed it for the Japanese market. So what is Tetris? Tetris is a, how can I say, it's non-denominational. There's no culture, there's no little characters, there's no like cutesy, whatever, is anything. It's just geometry.
Yeah.
And so it appeals to women, men, old, young. There's no culture involved in this game at all. It's just geometry. And so that's what attracted me to the game when I found it.
And Callie Greenberg's got a question already. From Las Vegas to Moscow to the US, how long did it take for you to get the rights to Tetris?
So it was January when I got started. By, I would say, June, I had all of the personal computer rights. And then I found out that the Game Boy, sorry, the Nintendo rights, the console rights, the people who had given me thought they give me those rights didn't actually have those rights. It was a big mess. So it took me to the end of the year to get to publish on 8 different personal computer platforms and Nintendo. And then in February, I went to Moscow. That's a picture of me in Moscow with Alexei Pajitnov to get the Game Boy rights. And that is like, you could say it's my claim to fame. I got on a plane. It's like going to North Korea and like skipping your guards, whatever, and talking to ministers that you're not supposed to talk to. Because on a tourist visa, I wasn't allowed to speak to anyone. And yet I went into the, that's a picture of me and Mr. Yamauchi. Finally, I got Alexei to come to Japan, and we brought him to Nintendo. By that time, Tetris was already known to be like a big deal. And you know, people say Tetris made Game Boy and Game Boy made Tetris. They go hand in hand back in those days. Nintendo, I licensed Tetris to Nintendo for Game Boy. They packed in 30 million units with Game Boy sold outside Japan. And inside Japan, they sold a whole bunch too. So
did you ever expect that this little windfall would help shape your life as such? Did you expect that, or?
No, I had, you know, I knew that I was personally hooked on the game. I fell in love with the game. And so you know, like, at least I had one customer, and that's me. And so, but it turned into a big deal, you know, and like in the game business, just like the movie, you don't know which one's going to be a hit.
Right.
You just like, you you know, I had one, a friend of mine who's in like in the game business, just hit singles. All you got to do is think about hitting singles, and one of those singles will turn into a home run, and you won't know which one. It'll just happen. And you know, Tetris is like that. But
Yeah.
once it became a home run,
Yeah.
I hung on to that sucker.
Oh yeah.
I made sure that it stayed a home run, and that's sort of, you know, they call Alexei Pajitnov Mr. Tetris. And people ask me, so who are you? I say, because they call me Mr. Tetris. I'm not Mr. I'm Dr. Tetris. I kept Tetris alive for all these years.
Medic.
Yeah.
Nice. In the chat, Callie just typed in hashtag ballsy, hashtag home run. I think hashtag hit the singles should be in there too. Patricia Whitkus just joined us. Jessica Handy just joined us. I don't know if you met Jessica at the EQ conference. She's
I may have. Jessica. She must be very beautiful.
She's absolutely stunning, and she had a display. She was the display about soil that walked you through all the different uses, meanings, and values of soil. She's a soil freak. I love her.
All right.
And now she's waving hello. So there's another question in here for us. Let me dig it out of here. Everybody's talking about, oh my God, that was one of my favorite games. All right, so here we go. We're gonna, Turco Ono wants to know, by the way, Turco is a lawyer and he's been in the audience since day one, and I really appreciate that. Do you create enough electricity to put it out to the grid, or are you only self-contained?
I am not connected to the grid. And the reason for that is a number of reasons. When I first want to take my branch off grid, they said, give us $30,000 to do an interconnect study. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm doing your homework. You're supposed to be figuring out this stuff about energy storage and batteries and all that. I'm doing your homework. You want me to pay you to do your homework for you? So I said, okay, screw the electric company. You know, what is it going to take for me to just get off grid? And my guys told me a number, and I knew that it was probably not the right number, but hey, you know what? Let's go. We're going to get off grid. So my ranch is not connected to the grid. I don't deal with them at all.
Because they want you to pay for their work, I guess. And
I mean, like, they were, you know, you could say that I'm a kind of competition because I'm a grid defector.
Gotcha.
You know? So every time somebody defects, it means they lose a customer. And in the beginning, it's not a big deal, but in the long run, they're going to lose a lot of customers. So I started by taking my ranch off grid, then I took my house off grid. Then other people, friends, started saying, "Can you help me go off grid?" I said, "Sure." And now we're like 25 people, and we're going to be big competition for Tesla going forward. We are Blue Planet Energy, and we do battery systems.
Got you. I got a correction in the chat. Anthony corrected me. It's Planet Home.
Yeah, exactly. I was wondering what you were talking about, but yeah,
it's
of course it's Planet Home.
The Manhattan mania in my head.
There you go.
And you were at Planet Home. What were you talking about there? Can you let us know what was your invite?
So, yeah, it's how do we change the world? It isn't good enough. So I have a foundation in Hawaii called the Blue Planet Foundation, and we changed Hawaii. We got Hawaii to have the first mandate of 100% renewable energy by 2045 or by any date in the country. And now we're up to like 13 states where we either have or we almost have that same mandate. But United States is only 6% of the world's population. So if we are completely successful and we completely fix the United States, that's only 6%. And by the way, the United States dropped out of the goddamn Paris Agreement. Are you serious? How dumb can we be? It's us, Syria, and North freaking Korea.
Go through the list.
It's like put us in the list with the worst despots in the world. Anyway, so what I'm trying to figure out, and what I was trying to figure out at Planet Home, is how do we get to change the behavior of all the people in the world enough to avert the disaster that would happen if we didn't fix climate change.
Gotcha. Good stuff. I wish there was more people. I wish there was just more attention. I mean, let's look at some pics, because I know you've been moving around the world trying to get people to pay attention to this. Tell us what's going on here.
So this is after we got Hawaii to pass the 100% mandate. So we got the school children to come out and say, we don't want your goddamn oil, give us renewable energy. So we organized the kids and we pushed the politicians. In the end, we made a book with kids' drawings to give to the rule is you can't give somebody more than you can't give a politician more than $25 in any given thing. So the book was $24.95, whatever, and it was a collection of children's drawings saying give us 100% by 2040, which is what we were fighting for. The politicians said we'll give you 2050, and we negotiated and settled for 2045. But 2045 is a great date because it's the 100th anniversary of the United Nations. What better date to fix everything than 2045? That is the crowning accomplishment. Like we got the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and they're up until 2030. What do you do with the next 15 years? You do the regenerative development goals. You've got to put everything back that we took. We have the technology now. We don't need all that shit that we get out of the ground. We don't need to pump carbon dioxide into the air. We just don't need to do that anymore. We're beyond that.
We need the will to freaking change. That's what we need. Marty Sittler says, this is going back to your complex. Do you ever have a shortage of power?
Yes, we do. In order to be off grid, you have to overbuild your solar power, and then we charge batteries, and the batteries take us through the night. But there are sometimes, like when you have a week of cloudy days, what do you do then? And so what we do is our backup is hydrogen. And so what we do is on sunny days, we use the excess energy, because once your battery is at 100% and you're like feeding all of the AC, all the electrical circuits, you have extra energy. You use the excess energy to make hydrogen. And hydrogen you can store. We have storage for 25 kilos of hydrogen. And then when it gets bad, then automatically the hydrogen gets converted back into electricity and charges the batteries.
What is this image we're looking at here?
We're looking at a hydrogen fueling station. We don't have a hydrogen car or bus or anything like that, but if we did, this would be it. We would just drive it up here and we would charge it with hydrogen. This is the electrolyzer. It's no longer inside, it's outside, but basically this is the device that we use to take water and electricity to make hydrogen. And then a fuel cell is another device which takes hydrogen and turns it back into electricity and water. So we have both.
Got it. Cool. Give me 1 second here. I just lost myself for a sec in the chat. Everybody's fired up. You are your own light. Wow. Screw the electrical company. You are a genius. It's great. Hashtag Blue Planet Foundation. Great job on renewables, says Turco Ono. Kingsley Arthur Rowe has just joined us. Welcome, Kingsley. Welcome, Archie. Archie's just joined us. Andrew Einhorn has a question. Does Hank have any thoughts on the new GE wind turbine, Haliad X? And how do we persuade others who are reluctant to see wind turbines in the sea? that a slight change in the view is so worth it for energy?
Oh my God! Thank you, Einhorn, for your question. You know, like we have accepted coal-fired and oil-fired power plants in our backyard. I mean, like, how did we ever let that happen in the first place? That is about as ugly as you can get. And so a wind turbine, seriously? I'm originally from the Netherlands, and they have wind turbines all over the Netherlands. Now, Netherlands is flat. If you put a wind turbine on the other end of Netherlands, people on the other end of Netherlands can see it. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not that ugly. It's renewable energy. It's beautiful.
Peaceful,
And
actually. It's
what's
very
that?
it's peaceful. It's like a
It's peaceful.
pinwheel.
It's peaceful. And they people complain that it kills birds. Are you freaking kidding me? Do you have any idea how many birds fly into buildings? It's like in the hundreds of millions. And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of birds being killed by wind turbines. It's not even in the same ballpark. Are we going to stop building buildings? No.
We had a guest last week, Steven Donziger, who I don't know if you've ever heard of, but he's fighting Chevron Texaco for creating 1,000 oil pits in Ecuador in the Amazon rainforest. He's been fighting for 24 years. Amazing guy. But here you go. Windmills are going to kill these, but plastic isn't killing birds, right? Trash and litter is not killing birds. Oil in these pits is not killing birds. Give me a break. I'm with you. Callie wants to know in the chat, since Hawaii was the first state to have 100% renewable energy law in 2015, what a smart audience I got here. What differences in your state that positively improved the landscape in Hawaii? What would you say to all 49 states?
Well, okay. So after we passed that mandate, the electric company, this is more recent, came out with an RFP, a request for proposal for 800 megawatts of renewable energy. That's half of freaking Hawaii. And you figure, okay, from the time that they put out the RFP and they granted, and then all these companies compete to bring in all that renewable energy, solar, wind, and geothermal, that maybe takes 5 years. So we're going to be there, halfway there in 5 years. And then they can do another RFP. How hard can this be? It's not. There are people in the world who can do this today. We don't need to wait for some new brainiac technology. It's here.
It sounds like the people in power, the politicians, are just the ones that don't have the fucking mind to accept these scientific truths and make them actionable.
Okay, don't even talk to me about the people in power, because that's a scary subject.
Well, but we're gonna go there. Turco, go ahead.
But you know, so what we did in Hawaii is the first thing that we did is we got the people on our side. We had elementary school children go door to door and change 300,000 light bulbs. And in so doing, they had the conversation with the people. Now, why are they doing this? What it saves you money, and it helps the environment. This is my environment that I'm going to grow into. This is my future.
Right.
Please help me. These are children.
Yeah. Money. It's all money. Well, let's talk about, we got somebody right here who's driving us right into that conversation. Speaking of despots, please comment on our president's executive order already mining on the moon, impliedly ignoring the Space Treaty of 67, the Moon Treaty of 76. And do you have any ideas for use of the moon?
Yeah, so we are a voyaging people. We have always voyaged and explored and settled in the farthest. I live in Hawaii. Hawaii is probably the last place on the planet that was colonized. You start in, the other side of the world from Hawaii is Botswana. So arguably, that's where we got our start. And then we went around the planet, and then this huge ass ocean at the top of the planet, the Pacific Ocean. And we figured out using like technology, watching the stars. You have a picture of me on Hokulea, and we sailed using celestial navigation, the sun, the moon, the stars, the wind, the waves, and the birds. And that's how we found our way. That you could tell that a bird is flying somewhere. There's an island out there. And so we followed the birds until we found Hawaii.
Is that
And
the
Hawaii is the most inaccessible place in the world at that time. So when the Europeans came, and they found Tahiti, they brought aboard a navigator. He knew where the hell Hawaii was, and showed them how to get there. This wasn't like a big discovery by Captain Cook. It had been discovered like generations before. Hello, there were people there, which means that other people discovered it. Anyway,
oh, wait, we got a really important question. I got to interrupt you here. It's in the chat.
Okay, there you go.
Circo Ona wants to know, what wine are you drinking?
What wine am I drinking?
It's French. All I know is it's French.
It's French wine. All I know is it's French wine.
All right. Marty Sittler says, terrific info. Thank you. Callie, #hydrogen. Archie says, sustainable energy. Jessica Handy says, very informative. Thank you both. Charisse, welcome. She says, good stuff. Natural energy. Bronislaw Gorski just joined us. Welcome. Rosita says, you look like Jesus saving the planet.
Oh, come on. How does anybody know what Jesus looked like?
Right? Exactly.
I mean, I'd love to look like Jesus, but the hell, you know?
Samantha says, no waiting today. #push politicians. Wally Green just joined us. Good job, Wally. Good to see you. Heather Prescott is with us. All right, let's see. What memory of environmental activism still resonates with you today?
Oh my gosh. I was in New York for Climate Week, and I marched with the youth. The youth, it's their future that we're screwing up. And so I marched with them, and it was like the energy was like huge, you know, and they, you know, when I was in high school, we demonstrated against the war in Vietnam. 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't want your fucking war.
Yeah.
And this is the energy that we need right now.
Yeah.
We need young people to say, you know, what you're doing to our environment is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And you're going to stop doing this.
And especially, it's ridiculous because it's especially in the face of everything you've just mentioned, which is we have the knowledge, we have the ability to make the changes. It's not like we're wishing on a star.
And by the way, today's situation, we got 30 million people out of work. Let's put them back to work. Let's do a WPA kind of project. And what do we need to do? We need to build renewable energy. We need to clean this freaking country up. We need to clean this planet. That's what people need to do. And now is our opportunity to go back to work and do the right thing.
It's 10:30. That means the show is over unless we get thumbs up from our chatters and you want to spend another 5, 10, 15 with me. Will you do that?
I'm good. I'm almost out of wine. So you guys better be fast.
All right. We're going into overtime, which means we start that off with a game called 5 Objects. I'm going to show you 5 objects that I've found in my house because I've been in quarantine and noticing all this crazy, some normal stuff. So you just give us a comment or a thought on each one. A cap with Andre the Giant.
Oh my God, it's Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite movies is Princess Bride.
Cool.
And Princess Bride, Andre the Giant, he was just the gentle giant. And awesome. I mean, that makes him look mean, but no, I don't think of him that way. He's got to be the gentle giant.
To go along with your French wine.
Oh yes. Okay. Screw that. So, so that is a Burning Man wine opener.
Really?
Yeah, because at Burning Man, the arms go up at the end of the burn. Before he burns, his arms go up. So that is the man. Cool. And this year we're missing the man, but we're gonna burn virtually anyway.
Next one, birthday candles.
Birthday candles. Oh my gosh. Well, so my problem is that there's not room enough on my cake for all of my birthday candles.
Well, You're Jesus. Yeah, you know
I
what?
have 6 grandchildren who they still fit, and 7 and 8 are on the way.
Wow. Amazing. All right, here we go. Number 4. An ice cube tray.
Ice cubes. All right. You know what? I have a fancy ass refrigerator on my ranch, and the ice maker is not working. So I'm still using trays. I wake up in the middle of the night and make myself drinks, scotch on the rocks. So that's
Okay.
serious, like the old school
Yes, exactly.
old school ice cubes.
All right, so this is the big one. Here we go.
Oh, good drugs. Okay, so the dumbest thing that we've ever done is to make drugs illegal. I'm originally from the Netherlands. Drugs are not illegal. Because we have relations with the United States of America, we have drugs as being illegal on the books, but nobody ever freaking gets arrested for drugs. Duh.
Yep.
And so we don't have prisons full of people for victimless crime. Like it's like the most ridiculous thing. I remember when I was in Hawaii in the 70s, the DEA gave Hawaii a whole bunch of money to go and eradicate marijuana. And we had helicopters identifying like marijuana growers and so on and so forth. And what did we get? We got methamphetamine. People went from being hungry and funny
right
to being violent and like crazy.
Nuts.
It's like, Jesus Christ, come on, get over it.
This is the license plate from my father's car. My father was a what do you call it? A pharmacist. So he had that on his license plate when he would deliver.
You were talking about medicinal drugs.
Yeah. But as kids, we all worked in the pharmacy for him. So we would go out and deliver the pharmaceuticals in that car and get pulled over all the time because we were kids with a car that said drugs on it. It's nuts.
Lucky you.
Yeah. A couple questions here out of the chat. Did you see Pearl Jam in Ohana? Might be a real random.
No, I did not. I'm an old guy, and so I don't get to go to concerts as often as I'd like to. It's sort of a different generation from my generation.
Gotcha.
I'm in my 60s. I'm gosh, yes, Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin. That's my generation. Woodstock.
Archie Pina has a question. Any foreseeable way to transition the airline industry to avenues outside of fossil fuel propulsion?
Absolutely. So it's a battery issue. Batteries are too freaking heavy right now, and they don't contain enough energy. But that's just a matter of time. So there was a plane, the solar plane, that flew around the world using only solar power, and that is the beginning of the revolution. If you look at that plane, and it's way better than the Wright brothers' first plane. It's way better. I mean, the Wright brothers went like what, a couple of 100 feet?
Yeah.
This thing flew around the world. Hello. So it's just a matter of time before we develop all of the technology we need to be able to fly around the world without fossil fuel.
Archie is adding, a lot of fuel is consumed on thrust. May airports with assistive takeoff technologies akin to aircraft carriers have catapults that help transition the airline industry?
I think I know Archie.
You may
Archie. Hello, Archie.
Archie Arcune.
Oh, okay. So there's another thing that we've kind of thrown out with the bathwater, and that is dirigibles. And we could build dirigibles, meaning.
Wait a minute, old man. What's a dirigible?
A dirigible is a something. It's like a balloon, except it's shaped like a torpedo, and it's filled with. It could either be filled with helium or hydrogen, and if you handle it right, you've got a hydrogen torpedo, and then you get lift without having to go through all, like a lot of the power used in an airplane is to lift it. And if you can just float it,
Yep.
and then shape it so that it can go fast, use all of the energy in moving it
Movement,
forward,
right.
and none of it in lifting it. And so that would be a way to get somewhere without using as much, well, fossil fuel or no fossil fuel.
All right, I'm going to go into the chat because there's a couple questions lining up. Cappy's there. Welcome, Cappy. Good to see you, Captain Seaman. Somebody just said, how come I feel like yelling amen? Okay. The questions, though. Not sure if somebody already asked this. Wally Green wants to know. Wally Green's going to be a guest on the show, by the way. He's a professional ping pong player. He crushes it. It's insane.
Oh, seriously? I play table tennis 3 times a week.
You guys.
Dude, come to my ranch. I need an opponent. I'm desperate.
He travels around the globe crushing people. He's from the Bronx.
Oh, wow.
And he's not your typical looking, if there is one, black kid from the Bronx with his head shaved and either Spider-Man dyed into his hair or Green Goblin. And I've watched him crush people using a cell phone as a paddle.
Yeah. Whatever.
I'm going to set this up. Wally wants to know, where'd it go? Oh, yeah. How much of an impact has the worldwide lockdown had on the environment? I can't wait to hear.
Oh, it's like incredible. Are you serious? We are all learning how to live a different lifestyle. Even me, I'm flying. I used to fly around the world to meet people, and now I'm zooming around the world meeting people. And that is the future of communication. We don't actually have to go. We can just virtually meet people. And it can be instant. We don't have to like wait and spend 8 hours on a plane or whatever. So the lockdown is like I would say for the environment, the best thing that's ever happened.
Great. Let's see. I know Andrew Einhorn had another question back here. There it is. If Biden can win, how do we persuade Republican senators to vote for more progressive environmental laws? And can Henk get a position in Biden's cabinet?
So the answer is I'm not going to become a politician. I'm just not cut out for it. I don't play the Republican Democrat game. There's just too much bullshit involved in that. How do we get Republicans? It's not about Republicans. It's about people. So forget the fact that we're Republicans or Democrats. The environmental issues are people issues. And you could say the most conservative Republicans still give a shit about nature. So the vision is to create a world in which humanity and nature live in harmony. Nobody disagrees with that. Nobody freaking disagrees with that. It's not a political issue. It's a survival issue. Survival of the species and the planet. We need to learn how to live in harmony with nature, or we will like drown in our own shit. That is not, it's not a Republican Democrat issue. Just look at the rest of the world. They're looking at us and think we're a bunch of idiots for dividing along those lines. Yeah. That's not a way we should be dividing.
Got it. You're inspiring me, Henk. Turco Ono, what is your current number one goal you hope to achieve in the next 5 years?
Ooh. So I'd like to, I have 3 things. I've formed the Blue Planet Alliance, and there are 3 things I'm trying to create in the next 3 years, and the next 5 years. One is I'm trying to get countries to have a mandate of 100% renewable energy, starting with island countries, because they're the ones who are the most screwed of any countries in the world. They're drowning in sea level rise. They're losing their countries. So that's number one. Number 2 is I want to create people's, you want to say gamify. That's one way of looking at it, but like mileage on United is not gamify. It's something that everybody does. What I want to do is I want to connect things to do, people doing things with some kind of a point system. And so if you do something that helps the environment, you get points for it. The more you do, the more you get. The more you organize, the more, like freaking Greta Thunberg, whatever, is going to get 1 million points for talking to the United Nations. And number 3 is I want to have a rating system. Like Uber drivers, taxi drivers became Uber drivers with a 5-star rating system. I want to have a 5-planet rating system, which rates products and services depending on how good they are for the environment.
That's great. Yeah.
When I go somewhere, I want to stay in the most eco-friendly hotel. I want to buy the most eco-friendly shampoo. I want to make sure that the supply chain of something that I buy is cleaned up. I want Amazon, Google, and everybody to tell me what is the right thing to do.
So like this, if we can focus, it says nutrition facts, right? It would have a cool little label. Everything would have a label that would also have a category.
It's, so the nutrition facts and all that, that's only in this country. The problem is that we got to deal with the whole world. Everybody, I just found out there are 14 billion cell phone in the world. 14 billion. That's like double the number of people in the world. If we can use that device to give people points so that they can rate, they can make decisions, informed decisions, and they can crowdsource the decisions like Yelp with restaurants, not like Michelin points, like Michelin stars, like everybody has to be able to do this. It's a worldwide thing. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's a phenomenal idea, and it's, again, another doable idea. Callie Greenberg asked a question, but you pretty much answered it. What's next for you in Blue Planet? Heather Prescott wants to know, do you have any upcoming software development projects that are more interactive in the entertainment business? So you talked about a little technology to rate the world's quality of life, so to speak. What about interactive in the entertainment business?
Yeah, so I'm away, I haven't been in the game business for, I don't know, it's like 15 years now. I do think that everybody in the world is in a meta game, and that we have to gamify everything that we do and get points for doing the right thing. But game itself, I'm not trying to do it through the game business. I'm not trying to get everybody in the world to play a game, because there's too many people in the world who say, I don't care, I don't play games. But you know what? United Airlines went bankrupt, and it survived because everybody had points, mileage points. That was it. I mean, everybody knew that this airline was going to survive because everybody had mileage points. There's no way that people are going to give up their mileage points. So I want, some nature points or something like it.
Yeah, right. Breathing.
Yeah, fix the planet. And you can give it to your grandkids because they're the ones who need it. They're the ones who are going to benefit from whatever you do now.
All right. Samantha wants to know, can I come live with you?
Well, there is competition there.
Right. Rosita, you are inspiring, Henk, your vibe. Peaches Rodriguez. Welcome, Peaches. She just joined us. Great performer.
Hey, Peaches.
Callie says, preach. And someone, I don't see their name, but they said, someone get Henk a refill. So they're worried.
Yes, I'm almost done. I think, well, we're running out of time anyway. We're running out of time. I'm running out of wine.
The time is perfect. Let's see. John Trefero says the points could also be tokens built on the blockchain as well.
Absolutely.
Right. Archie says, thanks for having many generations in the future. Let's look at a couple pictures. There's a couple questions that are kind of strange. Like, do you know Danny Heister and Kinko Treen?
I'm bad with names. I may, but I can't. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Gotcha. Archie says, fun questions. Burning Man out this year. What about the total solar eclipse in Patagonia? Keith Davis joined us. Nature Points is trending in our chat room right now. Nature Points.
Yeah.
All right. And Andrew Einhorn's got a great question. Did Dos Equis offer Henk a job as the most?
My kids tease me all the time with this, and they make me hold up the bottle and say, I don't usually drink, but when I do, I drink Dos Equis.
All right, we're gonna go do a couple pictures, and then we're gonna get out of here. It's been awesome. and the time has flown by. Tell us what we're looking at here.
You're looking at my energy lab. I have 360 solar panels on the roof for 85 hours of peak, 85 kilowatts of peak power. And we do energy storage or anything that I feel like research in this laboratory. The panels are facing south, the windows are facing north, so the building itself doesn't get any heat gain from the sun. It gets all the light and none of the heat. And so there's no air. It's the hottest place on the ranch, and there's no air conditioning of any kind. And that's me in front of my battery bank when we first, the very first generation of lithium iron phosphate batteries. I searched for batteries that would be environmentally benign. And most batteries are awful, like lead acid, acid. And so we've replaced lead acid for the most part in my phone and in my car with lithium, nickel, cobalt, manganese. Cobalt, it's nasty shit. And so we settled on lithium iron phosphate or lithium ferrous phosphate. Benign, last 30 years. It's much, much better than the others.
Gotcha.
Anyway, you're looking at my my habitat. We did 5 missions for NASA. 6 people living in 1,200 square feet. If they go outside, they have to wear a spacesuit. We did. If they communicate with the outside world, it's 20 minutes delay each way. We studied crew selection and crew psychology. There were 5 missions: 4 months, 4 months, 8 months, 12 months, and 8 months. There were people in this 1,200 square foot dome for a year without meeting other people.
Wow. Amazing. Holy cow. Speaking of meeting other people, there he is. 2 of the most interesting men in the world.
When Barack came to Hawaii before he got elected, this is a picture after, but I mean, when he first came to Hawaii, I said to him, if you can end this country's addiction to fossil fuel, you will be the greatest president this country has ever known. Unfortunately, he didn't do it
in that time period. No,
he didn't do it.
And you wore a Beatles shirt with the president.
I'm wearing a Beatles shirt. Yes.
Love that.
Yeah, of course, Beatles. So Governor Ariyoshi, next to me in the white jacket is Governor Ariyoshi, the greatest governor Hawaii has ever had. He was governor for more than 12 years. He sent a picture of his family to space with Ellison Onizuka. Ellison Onizuka died in the Challenger disaster. The picture survived. It landed in the ocean. It was in a plastic pouch, and it was brought back to the Ariyoshi family. I made a copy of that picture and gave it to Oleg Artemyev, the guy in blue, Russian cosmonaut, and he took it to the ISS for 200 days and brought it back. And this is a ceremony that we had at the state capitol of Hawaii, returning that picture. The guy on the other side of me is the president governor of Hawaii, Governor Ige. The guy wearing the Tetris shirt is Alexei Pajinov, the creator of Tetris. Gosh, who else is in the picture? Yeah, that's
all right. We're gonna move on. There's the most interesting man in the world.
I'm crawling out of my berth on the Hokulea. I don't know where this picture. Oh, this is me with my flags in the back. I made wings on my giant stage at Burning Man, and I brought them to Honolulu, and now they're flags on my. You've seen this one already.
That's great, man. We've closed it off with some great shots of you as the most interesting man in the world. Somebody just wrote, he is proof that not all rich men are greedy. You can be rich, but have balance. I agree, 100%.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Last question. Are you binging on anything right now that you can suggest to people? Viewing. I don't mean binging on red wine. I mean binging or scotch. But I mean binging on anything.
That's so funny because I just came from the Big Island, and for the last, I haven't watched anything for the last 2 weeks, maybe three, maybe more. And I'm binging on yard work.
Nice. Gotcha.
I have a chainsaw, and I was taking down like extra limbs, and I'm mowing lawns. You know, I know that's a freaking rich guy talking. So I got the space. So I'm sorry about that.
You
But
gotta do
I
it.
mean, like, I'm binging on doing things.
Oh, the rich guy would be saying, I'm binging on sipping a pina colada while my yards keeper is doing the work.
Yeah, no. So I joked with my ranch hand. It's like you can go from being a ranch hand, you can like start companies and become a rich guy and buy a ranch, and then you can become a ranch hand again.
Nice.
So
well, I really appreciate you taking time with us, Henk. And this has been like not only informative, but super inspiring. And I really appreciate it. I'll look forward to seeing you at the next Planet Home, whenever that
there
will,
you go.
you know?
There you go. Like, hey, I love you guys out there. We're all going to fix this planet. This is going to be a world where humanity and nature live in harmony. We are going to do this, and we're going to do this by 2045. Mark my words.
2045. Let's do it.
2045.
Right on. Thanks, Henk. Great being
All right.
with you. Take care. Peace.